¿Y qué? ¿Qué pasa?
¿Qué pasa?
Well, good evening, everyone out there in YouTube land. How is everyone out there doing tonight? Well, welcome back to the crazy train of frauditing, and thanks for stopping by to watch another video where we expose another so-called civilian journalist who it just happens to be when it turns out he's a career criminal. Now, my last video was pretty popular, where we exposed Placer County Cop Watch, holding him accountable for being a chomo or a tree jumper. I apologize for mispronouncing Placer County in my last video. I wasn't completely sure. I figured it was Placer, but what are you going to do? Oh, and I still remember that Illinois does not have an S on the end of it when you're pronouncing it. So, my video did get Placer County Cop Watch's attention, and multiple people told me old Davy boy he was busy deleting comments from you good people. Now please keep the pressure up on him so that he will be accountable for what and who he really is. And if old Davy boy keeps running his cock holster in the comment section of the video, there just might be a part 2 on him to put him in his place. But that's not what we're here for today, folks. Today, we're here to celebrate our 100th exposure video on frauditors. 100 videos proving that all frauditors have a criminal history and quite possibly why they do this frauditing bullshit. And for this very special occasion, I've decided to expose the prolific frauditor Rogue Nation. Mr. George Douglas, I can't say his last name because I don't trust that he won't privacy strike me for doing so. I thought I had already done a video on Rogue Nation, but I didn't find it in my list of videos today when I was looking. So today will be his day. Old Georgie boy comes off as a law and constitutional rights expert, but he still continues to get it all wrong. I have found he doesn't know the law, and he doesn't know his rights, and he certainly doesn't know the laws when it comes to videotaping or First Amendment. If you watched George's videos or read his comments, I'm sure you have figured this out for yourself by now. Now, George is also a career criminal. Surprise, surprise. That would be why you would see him doing what he does today, videotaping and harassing the public employees. I've done the best I can at finding all of George's arrests and convictions in the multiple states, but I'm not 100% sure that I have them all. I don't know if Rogue Nation has been exposed before, or if he's been talked, or all of his criminal convictions have been talked about before, or if anyone else has done a video on him or as deep of a dive as I have over the last couple of weeks. Now, due to the sheer amount of information I have found, I believe I am going to have to break this down into 2 separate videos, because there is just so much information to give you on this complete fraud and career criminal. So get yourself something to eat or drink, sit back and relax, as I take you on another adventure of the crazy train of frauditing to expose Rogue Nation. As you can see here, old Georgie boy can't drive for shit, and he's as much of a danger behind the wheel of a car on the roads as he is behind a cell phone camera. As you can see here, or count yourself, there are 19 vehicle and traffic violations that I could find for old Georgie boy. That's 19 more than I ever got in my whole life. So, as you take a look at this mugshot right here, April of 1992. Look at that sweet looking young lad right there. Woo! He's 19 years old in that mugshot. Anyways, this is the first adult arrest that I could find for George, but there's no description of any charges, and I didn't find anything for him for in the court systems for April of 1992. So his first that I could find here is in June 16th, 1992. Here's another sweet-looking young picture of that lad. He's charged with burglary, a felony out of Seminole County, Florida, and he was found guilty and given 3 years of probation. So it looks like he's been a felon since the ripe old age of 19 years old. Ah, that's awful young, I'm telling you. So we go ahead a couple of years. Looks like he got arrested for grand theft of property, also a felony, out of Seminole County, Florida. That was on December 6th, December 9th, 1994. It wasn't until February 29th, 1996, that he pled guilty to theft, a misdemeanor charge, getting it reduced anyways. 17 days in jail, which was time served, and a $110 court cost. That Seminole County is still looking for today. He's never ever paid it, according to their website. All right, we go to, I had to block out one thing there. It came up on his record before, but this last time when I went back through to verify everything before I made a video on Rogue Nation, this charge doesn't come up anymore, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. So I blocked it out because it's not fair to him to say that he was, charged with something if I can't find it anymore. Anyways, 12/20/1994, it was a controlled substance offense out of Orange County, Florida, and that ended up being dismissed. Now, tell me, where was George, or what did George do between 1994 and 2019 that he completely stayed out of trouble with the law, as far as I can find? I can't find him in Indiana, I can't find him in Florida, can't find him in Georgia or Alabama, where I've got other charges that I could find on him. But just all of a sudden, he's just a good boy for, almost 25 years. And then all of a sudden, he falls off the wagon. And this is where his criminal history takes a rise, if you want to call it that. But on February 25th, 2019, he's charged with trespass on property after a warning. He gave the name as John Doe in Orange County, Florida. Then we got resisting an officer without violence as John Doe, also out of Orange County. That charge ended up being dismissed. And then we go to November 5th, 2019. He's charged with trespassing out of Hillsborough County, Florida. That's a misdemeanor, and he got that charge dismissed also. Now, we're going to go ahead from there. All right, December 4th, 2020, he's arrested in Paulding County, Georgia. He took a little trip with, not sure who he went with on that one. Anyways, he was charged with loitering near inmates, which was a felony, and obstruction of a police officer, which was a misdemeanor. He was found guilty, so he's guilty of his next felony here. He ended up with 3 years probation, $3,235 in fine and fees, $2,800 restitution to the prison, and a 3-year ban from the county. I've never heard of that, except for Lafayette County audits, something like that. He got banned from the county for like 5 years. I don't know. I guess if you fuck around and find out down in the South, they just ban you from the county, tell you to go away. So, anyways, he appealed his conviction on that charge, and he lost. As of, it looks like May 6, 2025, the case was heard in the Georgia Supreme Court, and the Georgia Supreme Court ruled, and it held that state correctional facilities, including their parking lots, were non-public fora. So therefore you have no First Amendment right to video record in those areas. I found it kind of interesting that it was awful petty of Mr. George. During this trial, he actually filed a motion that was approved by the judge, that in the court they would not call his lawyer a public defender because it would look bad against him. Yes, if it comes down to it and I have to show those documents, I will be able to. So we go ahead now to 9/22/2021. He's charged on a warrant from Walton County, Florida, for criminal mischief. He was actually picked up in Seminole County, Florida, and he was transferred by the Walton County Sheriffs, he was transferred to the Walton County Sheriffs from Seminole County. And then on 10/24/2021, Walton County had been charged with criminal mischief less than $200. They ended up on January 19th, 1992, giving him a pretrial diversion on those charges that he ran from. And he ended up having to pay $622 in court costs. And now we're going to go ahead to his last charge that I can find on him, and that was on January 6th, 2023. He was charged with taking unlawful taking of photographs ×3, which was a misdemeanor, which these are federal charges out of Orlando County, Florida. And on January 6, 2023, he was also charged with not following signs and lawful direction by federal police officers ×3. So he's got 6 total charges. According to the records, he was charged with Joshua from This Is a Public Service. The two of them went around and filmed 3 Social Security buildings, the inside of them in the lobby, in Ocala, Kissimmee, and in Orlando. Georgie Boy was found guilty. He was given 6 months probation and a $3,000 fine, which he appealed and lost on January 26th, 2025. So as I said, old Georgie Boy isn't as smart as he thinks he was. So let's go on. I might be able to get this all into one video. Let's go on, and we've got 3 civil cases against Georgie Boy. We've got a state tax. Let me start out on the bottom at the oldest. And on May 20th, 1997, Chapter 13 bankruptcy was filed by George and Samantha in Indiana. And that was actually finalized on August 6th, 2002. Seems to be a big thing among the frauditors that they all have filed, so a good number of them have filed bankruptcy anyways. So let's go on, and on October 20th, 2010, there was a judgment for a case, and this case is actually a criminal case that he was found guilty on out of Seminole County, Florida, and they sued him for the fine in the criminal case that was never paid. I couldn't tell you if he paid for that fine, that judgment, or not. They don't really give you much information on all of that. So old Georgie Boy likes to complain about government corruption. tyrannical judges and police officers, and the waste in taxpayer resources for the police. Yet, I was able to find, starting on June 24th, 2019, old Georgie Boy had filed 16 frivolous lawsuits in a Georgie Boy trying to get rich scheme. 16 lawsuits, ladies and gentlemen. How many have you filed in your life? So out of 16, 8 have been dismissed for various reasons. Most importantly, it's because Rogue Nation didn't know what he was talking about when it comes to things such as when, where, and how you can videotape or gather content for a story. So it appears that 2 more of George's lawsuits were filed in the wrong district and had to be transferred. We have 2 more lawsuits were dismissed, but it looks like there were out-of-court settlements that are sealed for 2 cases anyways. And then it looks like there are 2 open cases currently without any disposition to them. Well, this video might be a little longer, but at least we'll get it all done in one video. Get it taken care of. We got our header page up here where I put a bunch of information on every frauditor. This is going to be Rogue Nation. George Douglas messes around a lot, and he uses both Junior or the second to his name. He was born in November 1973 in Indiana. Got a brand new address from him in Lucia, Florida, according to his probation page that you can see right here. He is on federal probation from out of state, which would be, I believe it was Georgia. He ended up getting these charges, and now he's on probation in Florida. Before that, we've got an address that he had in Summerfield, which is Marion County. We got a phone number there. I don't know if that's any good for George or not. We've got multiple email addresses for George. I don't know if they're any good or not. I haven't tried to contact him on anything. The little guy is only 5'6" and 160 pounds. So maybe George has a little bit of that little man complex that's going on there. So anyways, I watched a video back on September 17th, 2022 with Daniel Warmus. Oh, I can't say that, can I? With Daniel. And we've got Metz, who said during that video, let's see who we can trigger over here while they were filming in the airport. Now let me ask you, does that sound like a citizen auditor? Or a citizen journalist? Does that sound like somebody that's really fighting for your First Amendment rights? They're going to make the statement, let's see who we can trigger over here. Again, this doesn't have anything to do with the First Amendment, in my opinion. So he's a veteran frauditor, a prolific frauditor, as I've said in the beginning. He thinks he knows all the laws, but he doesn't. He and I have been in arguments after arguments. One of them was over public easement, which he was in Alabama. He was at a Coast Guard air station. They threw him off the property, and he sued, stating that they violated his First Amendment and Fourth Amendment rights. And his First Amendment rights were because he was recording on the public easement on the base property, which he was thrown off of. He lost that lawsuit. So anyways, he and I were arguing over easement. I made it very plain and clear what a public easement was and that he was completely wrong. And he stopped responding to me. Just like that. That's what George does. George pushes at you You respond to him and prove him 100% wrong, and he just stops responding. So, anyways, he likes to call himself, one of his aliases is Majorly Awesome, or Majorly Awesome. He has a business called Expanding Freedom Incorporated out of Summerfield, Florida, which was his old home address for the company. It was updated to another address that he uses. A business contact for that is Bonnie, and it says or gives a description that Expanding Freedom Incorporated is a company based in Bellevue, Florida that specializes in providing innovative solutions for personal and professional growth. Their services aim to empower individuals and organizations to reach their full potential, with a focus on self-improvement and leadership development. Expanding Freedom Incorporation offers a free range of programs and resources designed to inspire positive change and foster a culture of growth, success. What the fuck did I just read there? This is coming. I want to make sure you all understand this. This is coming from Rogue Nation. That should make you laugh yourself. Anyways, Georgie Boy is listed as president of this organization. The VP is someone named Bonnie. The secretary is Paul. The treasurer is his wife, Rachel. That's going to be George's wife, Rachel. The directors of it are Tony and Chris. And again, George's wife's name is Rachel. And I was able to find at least 22 addresses over the lifetime of this man. So, considering his age, he moves about every year and a half. That's freaking crazy. Every year and a half, you pack up everything you have and you move to a new address. Talk about insanity. Man, that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I could find on Rogue Nation. George Douglas messes around a lot, Jr. or the second, from Alucia County, Florida. There's a lot of information there, and I don't know what's already been put out there or not. So please bear with me if this is duplicative from another channel. I hope you all enjoyed the video though, and if you did, please hit that thumbs up button so I will know that you did. If you're not a member of the channel yet, of the Crazy Train of Frauditing, please hit that bell so that you'll be subscribed so that you will be subscribed and receive notification of every time we drop a new video on another frauditor. I knew it had been a bad few days for law enforcement, and looking at the Officer Down Memorial page, they are reporting that 76 officers have now lost their lives in the line of duty so far this year. And the bluehelp.org website is telling us that 80 law enforcement officers have taken their own lives so far this year. Now, I will continue to put up the telephone numbers here so that you can all call them if you would like. And who knows, me doing a little thing like this, maybe a powerful message will go to someone who really needs to see it, and they will use one of those phone numbers. And that's all I have for today, folks. Thank you so much for stopping by. Check out the video, and I look forward to seeing you all again in the near future. Until then, y'all take care out there now.